Welcome to another edition of The Way I See It with your host, Ralph Williams. And now, without further ado, Ralph Williams.
And thank you very much, and welcome to another edition of The Way I See It. My name's Ralph Williams. If it's your first time watching the program, we're here every single Monday night at 7 o'clock p.m. right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. And tonight we have a lot to talk about, as we always do on Monday nights here at 7 p.m. on The Way I See It. But coming up, we have our Blast segment. But tonight, I want to bring to your attention tonight that Damar Hamlin has been released from a Cincinnati hospital and will be transported to Buffalo, and he's going to do the rest of what his hospitalization is in Buffalo. And I want to say that's good news for us, and it's good news for all of us who have him in prayer. Secondly, tomorrow, if anyone's interested, tomorrow and also tonight, there will be the layout for Justin, the police chief, Justin McIntyre, from who got killed in New Kensington for chasing somebody, or in Brackenridge. Brackenridge, the chief of Brackenridge Police Department, who got shot down last week trying to go after a suspect. And so my condolences to his family as well. And Thursday night, if you watch The Way I See It on PCTV's Facebook page, and you'll see it coming up soon with the rotation in the system at PCTV, you will see that I had dedicated my show this past Thursday to Chief McIntyre and his family as well. Also, don't forget, tomorrow night at 8:30 is Sports Corner with myself and Smoking Jim Frazier. That will be at 8:30 on the same four platforms that you see at the bottom of your screen, right here, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Also, coming up shortly, we're going to be going on the REMS Network, which is going to be a new radio channel. I'm removing all my shows from social media. You'll go on a website, punch up my show, and you will see them there. All four of my shows from RW Media will be going on real soon on the REMS Network. All right, tonight we have plenty to talk about. Believe me, we do, as we do every night here on The Way I See It. So first, let's get started with our Blast segment. And our Blast segment tonight is brought to you by DJ Fun. DJ Fun is a party and wedding and special event DJ. You can call him today at 412-545-4317. DJ Fun, I tell you what, he is such a great DJ, and he will not charge you a lot of money either. All right, so I tell you this right now when I say this, make sure that you contact him today. His number is 412-545-4317. You better hurry. Dates are booking fast. All right, let's get started here. First, I'm going to blast McKees Rocks Council. In case a lot of you are not aware, McKees Rocks has decided that they are going to decertify their fire department. Now, they recently had the council president on who looked like he didn't have any idea what was going on. Oh, well, we sent the paperwork into 911. Preston was supposed to come in and start doing the, do McKees Rocks fire stuff and everything else, okay? But that's no excuse not to get rid of the fire department, all right? You are putting your residents in danger, all right? But you know what? You don't see it this way. And if I'm somebody who lives in McKees Rocks, all right, if I'm somebody who lives in McKees Rocks, I would vote these people out for this purpose. You pay taxes to live there, and then when you have an election, you put a guy in who can't even answer any of the questions about what was going on with McKees Rocks and decertifying the police or the fire department. First of all, I've never even heard of defunding of or certifying a volunteer fire department. Now, there's a couple things they claim here. Number one, that the building and the equipment is antiquated. That's number one. And number two, then they also claim they can't find people. You had 10 guys on duty, 10 guys, and you couldn't do anything at all. You couldn't send anybody out because you decertified them. Why would you decertify a department like that? That's why I'm blasting you tonight, McKees Rocks Council, and I'm blasting the mayor for this as well, because in my opinion, this is unacceptable. And if I lived in McKees Rocks, I'd be running for mayor, because somebody needs to do something here. That's not right. That's unacceptable. That tonight is the way I see it. Next, the county executive, and I'm going to blast him tonight, because for some weird reason, if you read some of the articles in the city paper, and and you read up on what's been going on with the jail, okay? And they asked Rich Fitzgerald, "What's your thoughts about Orlando Harper?" "Oh, he's doing a really good job." Okay, County Executive Fitzgerald, have you been in the jail lately? And he said he was gonna go over a committee that he sent in, which included County Controller Corey O'Connor. And they sent them in there to go take a look at the conditions at the jail, which have been said that there are roaches in the food, that there's mistreatment of juveniles, and there's a whole lot of other things going on in that jail that, to me, are unacceptable. Medical care not being handled, nothing, okay? It's a lost ship. And Orlando Harper is the captain of that ship. He is the warden, okay? I want to know where the board is here, the jail board. I want to know why a county executive, just like a coach, okay? You know how a head coach, this assistant coach, and I'm not going to mention any names right now. We'll save that for another time or for tomorrow's show, because this is not a sports program, all right? But anyway, what I wanted to say was, okay, that's just like a head coach has a bad assistant. And he sits there and goes on and on and on about how great this assistant is, but this assistant's one of the most horrible coaches you could have ever hired. But then on top of that, goes ahead and still continues to keep him employed. That is what Rich Fitzgerald, our county executive, has done. Okay? And that's why I'm blasting you tonight. And that is the way I see it tonight. Next, the 2 hospitals in New York who refused to do anything about the working conditions of the nurses. And it's so bad that the nurses had to step down, resign, and walk out on strike. Okay? The nurses are on strike right now in New York. 2,700 nurses are on strike in New York. And you want to know why? Because from 2 key hospitals, because of working conditions due to COVID. Okay? Because since COVID, the working conditions have been very horrible at all these hospitals. They've been forced to work overtime. They've been forced to work odd hours. They can't see their families. And guess what? The hospital doesn't care. All right? And I know that hospitals' number one priority is to take care of their patients. Okay? But you got to take care of your employees. You can't do this. This doesn't work. So that's why we have nurses on strike in New York City, and I feel bad for them nurses, and I feel bad for these medical workers and everything else. And the 2 hospitals that have done this, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. That is the way I see it. Next, the contractor from Harrison Township, all right, who ripped people off. This is getting kind of old. You got people out here that are calling people up, scamming them, saying they're contractors. They come over, they do an estimate. They don't even work on your place. Okay? First of all, you as a consumer should know better. You need to go see the Better Business Bureau. You need to go talk to somebody or look on some kind of website. They have a consumer website that has the state certified contractors that are certified to do different types of work. Okay? And if they're not certified by the state, you should not call them. You should not even do business with them. They are a fraud. Okay? Do you catch what I'm getting at? But you, as a consumer, needs to do this as well. But I'm blasting the contractor tonight who attempted to try to get $6,800 off of some people. Probably did. And guess what? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And I'm glad you got caught. And that's the way I see it tonight. And that tonight is our blast segment. brought to you by DJ Fun. Call DJ Fun today, 412-545-4317. DJ Fun is a great party DJ, weddings and special events as well. Give him a call today. 2023 dates are booking fast, so you better give him a call. And DJ Fun has extended his sale. He will give you 2022 rates till the end of January. After that, it stops. So in order to get the discount to book 2003 event and get the 2022 rate, you must call today. 412-545-4317. Call DJ Fun. Give him a call today. I am Ralph Williams. We're here at Studios 808 Studio B for The Way I See It. Welcome aboard if you're a new watcher of the program as well. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're up to number 70. We are up to 70. And, the interesting thing is, and I thanked everybody on Facebook this past weekend, I put out a call. And the call was that I was going to have, I would like 60 people. And I was down to 57. And I said, or 56. Can I get 60 people? I got 66 by the end of the year, and it's increased by 4. Okay. So what I'm saying is that, okay, what you need to do is you need to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right. And stay tuned to that channel for all my archive shows. Okay. And you can watch every one of them when I had special guests on or any show that you liked. I know a lot of people, I got a lot of feedback from last week's show everyone liked, and everyone liked my end of the year show. Okay. We're in show number 2 of 2023, and our theme this year is Nobody Cares, because nobody does. Once again, I'm seeing, before we get in our bonehead segment, because we only got one, but believe it or not, we got one bonehead tonight, and that is all. One bonehead. I'm really surprised because, actually, I usually get about 2, 3, sometimes 4 boneheaded moves that go on, but you know what? I was out driving last week, and there are still boneheads out there driving. People cutting in front of me just to get to the red light. People cutting in front of me to turn into a business. When you could have stayed behind me and waited until I drove by. And you know what? It gets worse and worse with Pittsburgh drivers. I've said this many times. I'm not going to say it anymore because it's a waste. Okay? But Pittsburgh drivers really need to look at yourself in the mirror this year for 2023 and really fix your attitude and fix the way you drive. There's too much road rage out there, too much nonsense going on, too much F-bomb. I'm tired of it. I don't want to deal with it anymore in this town. And in fact, I'm going to tell you this right now. I am thinking about getting out of here because I've had enough of this city, and I've had enough of what goes on here. I've had enough of people's attitudes. I've had enough of it all. I can go some other places where this stuff doesn't go on. It just doesn't go on, everybody. All right? And Pittsburgh needs to fix themselves up, and it starts with you. It starts with some of you out there that are doing some of this stuff. And I know there's a bunch of you out there that are unreasonable to deal with. There are people out here who just simply don't even care. And that's why my theme this year is Nobody Cares. Because it's the truth. All right. And what's sad about this whole thing, I get heat because everybody says to me, well, Ralph, sometimes what you say, well, you know what I say is the truth. And that's all. It is the truth. All right. So our bonehead move tonight was the woman who tried to steal 5 TVs from a Cranberry store. And I don't know what the store was, but I do know 5 TVs from a Cranberry. I think it was a Best Buy. The woman who tried. And I say tried. Why? Because she got arrested for this. And, so that's what happens tonight when you do this kind of stuff. And that is the way I see it tonight on this boneheaded move tonight. And the boneheads are also still every week, all you drivers out there who really don't know how to drive and horrible at what you do and everything else. So, you guys all need some help as well. So, All right. Next, we're going to talk into my life story. Last Tuesday, I was unable to do Sports Corner. I got definitely sick. I don't know what happened. I got really sick and I couldn't do the show. So I sort of laid around the house all day or around here and didn't do anything at all, really. And but anyway, that's what happened on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, uh, I had my executive meeting for the Allegheny County Transit Council as we planned our meetings for this year. As you know, I was reelected president for another 2-year term as the president of the Allegheny County Transit Council. I'm working very hard to try to get some of these drivers back out on the road, some of the ones who are experienced and know what they're doing. Okay. We have a lot of new drivers. And again, I have nothing against new operators for PRT. I have nothing against them at all. All right. But I am still going to continue to try to bring back some of these experienced operators because PRT needs them. They need these folks. These guys are the ones who make the road and make your experience on PRT the best. And I know what you're going to tell me. The same thing I say about the police. I worship the police men, but I don't like police who are lazy. And I've said this many times, and I'll say it again, that the city of Pittsburgh police, now it has gotten better a little bit. It's getting there. All right. And I appreciate the fact that Assistant Chief Tom Stangriki has changed some things as his tenure as acting chief until they find a new one. All right. They're starting to do traffic stops again. They're starting to do a lot of new different things that were not being done while Scott Schubert was the chief. And again, there's no knock on Scott Schubert. I know some city cops. They've told me this about him. But the interesting thing is about this is how can you have a police department with bad morale? You get no support from the mayor. Now, again, Ed Gainey supports the police. Bill Peduto did not. And what happened, everyone, is that the police department ended up having bad morale. All right. They were told certain things. Don't give out traffic tickets. Don't hand out parking tickets. Somebody parks in front of a fire hydrant. Who cares? Okay. Who cares until somebody dies? Then when somebody dies, that's when somebody cares. Okay. And it boils down to my theme for this year. Nobody cares. All right. Okay. So what I'm saying to you is that I think we all need to look at ourselves in the mirror for 2023 and start learning how to care. All right. And I know you have a miserable life. Okay. And I'm going to say this because my caregiver is a miserable person. I try to talk to him today about a couple things. He didn't want to be bothered with it. He has a miserable attitude. Okay. So what I'm saying to you is, I mean, he does his job. That's the one thing he does is his job. But he has his attitude is miserable. He don't trust the government. He don't trust banks. He don't trust credit card companies. And there are people who don't. All right. I know people who would rather not have a phone at all than to go get a government phone. And that's foolish. That's really foolish because everyone thinks that because you get a government phone, the government's spying on you. All right. And you have these people out here who actually think like that. I think they're crazy. I think there's something wrong with them in my eyes. All right. And then on Wednesday, after my executive meeting, my wife and I took the dog to go get groomed at the groomer. All right. Now, here's the interesting thing about it. He calls me up. He tells me I'm way in Shadyside. I had to go to church to go get poinsettias. Okay. So my dog groomer decides he's going to call me up and he's going to say, your dog will be ready possibly by 3:00. I said, okay, fine. So we're in Shadyside and I figure, you know what? Usually when he tells me what time it is, it's usually later. So he told me 3:00. Well, my wife got jammed up in the store, so we ended up driving over to go get the dog. The groomer calls me up and he goes, oh, you got to come get your dog or you're going to have to meet me at my house because he says, if, I have to leave. And I'm saying to myself, what do you mean you have to leave? He says, well, I close at 3:00 and I have other obligations. Oh, my. Then we had to drive all the way out to Washington County in the middle of rush hour. Now, get this. I drive to his house, and I'm thankful that he didn't leave my dog at his place in a cage. I'm real thankful for that. And I'm glad that God was with us on that. God was also with us on the fact that we got out there And I came from Shadyside. This guy came from Carrick, and I beat him to his house. Believe it or not, I actually dodged a bullet on the Parkway. You're not going to believe it. The outbound Parkway was not slow at all. And I got to give it to you, folks. You guys are, starting just a little bit, starting to push the pedal a little bit on the Parkway West. Okay? Because what I don't understand about the Parkway West is how in the world do you bottleneck and get jammed in traffic at Robinson all the time? Okay? How do you slow down there? Just keep on moving. Okay? And I've said this many times about the tunnels. Why do you go so slow through the tunnels? I don't even go through the tunnels anymore. I don't even use the Parkway as little as possible because people don't know how to drive on the Parkway. And it's worse. Okay? Oh, I'm so scared. Oh, I'm afraid of tunnel ghost. Oh. Is that what the problem is? Are you afraid of tunnel ghosts? Is that what's wrong? All right? There has to be some kind of a problem here that you don't know how to drive through the tunnels. Either one of them. And fortunately for me, I know back ways and shortcuts and ways that no one even knows because you don't know how to use a GPS. Okay? Because you're too busy worrying about TikTok. You're too busy, if you're a female or even a male, of course, putting your body out there, okay, on social media so you could try to pick up an easy date or whatever it is you're going to do. All right? And, I saw a report today, before we get back to my life story, because I got a lot to talk about here on this. I had a busy week last week. It was really busy. And believe me, I'm paying for it because I am tired. So anyway, okay, I saw a report today, and I couldn't believe it, that younger generational people from 18 to 24 actually care about the environment, about the environment. Wow. I'm surprised. I am really, really surprised. I am so surprised that I don't even know what to say. I don't. Because the reason I say that is because you usually don't hear that. That's something that you don't normally hear. Okay? All right? So what I'm saying is okay, fine. But 18 through 24, wow. That's got me puzzled because you wouldn't expect to hear that. There are actually people in that age range that care about the environment and global warming. You know what someone said to me once? Someone says, whatever happened to global cooling? I mean, you have global warming. Why don't you have global cooling? All right. Next, the remaining of my week, Thursday, every first Thursday of the month, I do my TV show. I tape The Way I See It, my TV version. And it's played on PCTV, Channel 21 Comcast, 47 Verizon Cable, if you live in the Allegheny County area. All right. So that means if you live in Monroeville or if you live in some other area within Allegheny County, you can get PCTV. I cannot believe that PCTV has been in Allegheny County now going on almost over 8 to 8 years. Used to just be in the city of Pittsburgh, and you had to be a city resident to either get it or a city resident to be on the network. Okay? Now, you could be a city resident and a county resident and put out your own shows. You live in McKees Rocks. You can live in Bellevue. You can live anywhere. Okay? All right? In Allegheny County and be able to put a show on PCTV. Well, I went to go do my show, and, my friends Luther Dupree My co-host, Smoking Jim Frazier, who's also part of Steel City Sports World, along with Claudio Rosano, and they have their live call in the day before mine. We're having some issues with the phone lines at the station. So I talked to the producer, and he says to me, Ralph, he says, I called him up right before I went down because I wanted to make sure. See, I'm still old school. I like to talk on the phone, okay? I'm not one of these kind of people that hides behind the email, hides behind everything else, hide behind the voicemail. Why do you have a phone? Oh, so you could play around on TikTok, okay? Because you can do everything on your phone now. You have an alarm clock, you have a calendar, you have all kinds of stuff on your phone. It's a one-stop thing now with your phone. GPS, you don't have to go out and buy a GPS. All right? Maps, Google lookup, everything, all on your phone now. Okay? So that's why everybody has a phone. All right? Except for those who think the government is spying on them and will not go out and get them and don't want anything to do with a government phone. All right? They still call them Obama phones. So anyway, I go to the station, and we had the Year in Sports review, and the normal phone line is down. So the producer tells me this. Oh, the system is what's called old and antiquated. And antiquated, for those of you who don't understand what that means, because your brain is inside the Xbox and the PlayStation, okay? That means it's old. I mean, I'm talking ancient. So it's only 2 years since the software has been removed, and they have to go buy a whole new unit of a phone with this new software. The software's been gone for 2 years. All right. Now, I don't know if you noticed or not, but there's somewhat of a little bit of a dispute going on between the producers and PCTV. PCTV is having financial hard times. The cable companies are not, who are possible funders for public access TV. Okay? In about a week or two, I'm going to be speaking at City Council in regards to that. The city of Pittsburgh, who uses PCTV, even though they have their own government network, and they used to put their stuff on PCTV. The Pittsburgh School Board uses it. Okay? All right. They put their school board meetings on there. All right. So why can't the city of Pittsburgh come up with a little bit of money to help us out, to help the station out? So I'm going to go down, and I am going to speak at City Council. I usually do it on Zoom because it's easier for me to either put my headset on, sit here, punch up a button, and I'm on an invite, rather than waste my time going downtown. All right. Which is now going to be all luxury condos and hotels that no one will sleep in or can afford, and apartments that are $4,000 a month. I went by the Marriott on my way home from church on Sunday, and I looked over, and, I used to work at the downtown Marriott many years ago. And then it was office building or office space right in the Chatham Center, number 1 Chatham, where the Marriott is. The Marriott's up on the upper floors, and there was office space in the middle and in between. Okay. So it turns out that I go by there, and there's a big for lease sign up there, and it says apartments, which means there's going to be more and more apartments put in where the Marriott is. The old Kaufman store it has apartments right now. And they're building a hotel on the Forbes Avenue end of it. The Fifth Avenue side has luxury apartments. GNC moved their corporate offices out of Pittsburgh altogether. And guess what? They're going to be apartments. The Gulf Tower had a fire. Instead of saying to the tenants, okay, come on back in, no. They got to go somewhere else. They're making that into an apartment building and luxury hotel. Luxury. All right. A luxury hotel. And that's all downtown is. All the good places that you used to go shop at are all pretty much gone. When I grew up, the following places were the places to shop: East of Liberty, downtown, North Hills, North Hills Village, Parkway Center. Those were the 4 malls. And sometimes Waterworks. Now Waterworks don't have a Walmart there anymore. All right. Brick and mortar places are going bye-byes. Later on in the show, I got stuff to tell you about Bed Bath & Beyond, Joann's Fabrics starting to close up locations. Everybody's buying stuff online now. Amazon, everything. And Amazon, believe it or not, is laying off workers. They're cutting back. That I don't get. Okay? Here is a powerful delivery service that has their own drivers. They're building warehouses here in Pittsburgh, but they're laying off 18,000 people across the country. Why? Okay? All right. So I get to the TV station and find out I had to use a Zoom hookup. Okay? Now, here's a station that is trying to what they call make up for losses on our backs, the producers. And a lot of some, and mostly the majority of us are fighting it. Some of the people, they don't care. I spoke to a woman who has a show there whose name I'm not going to mention. You know what she said to me? I'll pay $100. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll do whatever I have to keep my show on the air. It's a religious show. Okay? Maybe you're willing, or maybe you get blessed with some money to do it, but I'm not. Okay? I can do my show from here and not pay anything to use the studio at PCTV. All right? But they have an antiquated phone system, and they had the money years ago to fix it, or at least update it, and they never did. And who has to suffer? Me, the producer. You, the person who likes to call in and talk on my show. Or Steel City Sports World on their show. Okay? Somebody who calls in on Steel City Sports World or on Sports Corner has to now be inconvenienced because of PCTV. All right? Wonderful, isn't it? You want to put what's going on there on the backs of the producers, but you should have fixed this equipment years ago. Do you see my point in what I'm saying here? Okay. And now, probably next month, when I go there to do my live call-in show and Luther Dupree and Claudio and Smoke and Jim for Steel City Sports World, when they go ahead and do their show, or anyone else that has a live call-in down there, they're going to have to do that Zoom thing again. And it'll drag on and on and on and on, and here we are. Okay? Watch my Ralph Williams one-on-one debut show. I had Carl Samisi on from PCTV to discuss what's going on there. Okay? Go on my YouTube channel, Ralph Williams one-on-one. You know, I have a new interview show. It's called Ralph Williams one-on-one. I've done 4 episodes. And this Saturday, 2 o'clock, I have a guest that's going to blow your socks off. Right here on the 4 platforms. My guest for Ralph Williams one-on-one, 2 p.m. Saturday, January 14th. Are you ready? Al Vento Jr. from Franco's Italian Army and Vento's Pizza in East Liberty. And those of you who still have your head on TikTok, who still play the Xbox and again, I have nothing against anyone that does it. But if your whole life is that and your brain is so absorbed that you don't know what's going on in society today, then you have a problem. Okay? And you're another one who doesn't care. All right? So anyway, I'm going to be interviewing him on Saturday. We're going to talk about Franco Harris, Franco's Italian Army when his late father had it. And Al Jr. was there with his dad for all the times that Franco's Italian Army was at the old Three River Stadium. Okay. And anything about Franco Harris. And we're going to learn a little bit about El Vento Jr. as well. How's the pizza business? Okay. Vento's Pizza has been a staple in East Liberty for so many years. When I was little, my grandmother and I, we used to stop there and get a piece of pizza. El Vento Jr. Probably second to none, one of my best guests on the show. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I interviewed Joe DiStio. Check that one out too. That's why you have to go on my YouTube channel so you can see all the archive versions. All right. So that's what I did on Thursday. All right. Then Friday, I had to take my wife to the doctors. We went out to the road I rode. Didn't go to that Giant Eagle. Went to the one down in Verona because it's a lot better. That Giant Eagle needs some help there. Giant Eagle ought to be ashamed of themselves. That Giant Eagle's very old. The only thing I can think of is it's privately owned, and Giant Eagle don't put no money into it. And I guess the owner's cheap. Okay, when you still have the door where you have to go on the thing and the door opens straight up and don't slide back and forth, you got problems. Okay, old parking lot, not painted up, nothing. I mean, appearance is everything sometimes. You know what I mean? It really is. Okay. All right. So anyway, we stopped at Oakmont Bakery, and get this, Oakmont Bakery actually wasn't as crowded as it has been. It was crowded. Okay. And I actually got a handicap spot. All right. And of course, you got these people. Ugh. I have nothing against elderly or senior citizens, but you have these elderly and senior citizen women that do not know how to, and again, I'm not being discriminatory. Men are the same way. Elderly people, it's all the same. Okay. You don't know how to get in and out of that parking lot. I'm not going to go any further because it's sad. Okay. It really is. It's sad. And you know, my first wife, who's with the Lord, her one aunt was 96 years old and was getting in accidents driving. Should have never even been really even driving at all. All right. My question to you is, as we're on this topic just a little bit, what age limit is there for elderly people to drive? You can't do that because then that way you're going to get people are going to get sued for age discrimination. The state's going to have all these people with lawsuits and all this other stuff. So you can't put a limit on it. Can't say, well, once you're 80 years old, you can't drive anymore. Okay. Some elderly people are sharp as a tack and love to drive and can drive. But there's a lot of them out there that just can't. And it's bad. And they're going to cause an accident and cause a problem. You don't know how many times I've dodged accidents from two groups, the elderly and the young kids, that I've had to dodge accidents that almost happened. It wasn't my fault. Unlike a lot of people in Pittsburgh, I know how to drive. Okay? I know how to drive. And there's a lot of you out there who do not. And it's really sad. And I get all these people that go, oh, Ralph, well, you know, you really don't know what it's like. Have you ever been to California, Nevada, Arizona, or some of these other cities, Atlanta, all these other places where there's all this traffic and people are going 80 miles an hour? Yes, I have. I've been to Nevada. I've seen the highways there. Okay. There, and in California, and in some others, if you're not going 80, you're done. Okay. Montana, you could drive there's no speed limit in Montana. And maybe there is now, but the last time I checked, there was no speed limit there. You can drive as fast as you want as long as it's safe. Okay. So here we are. I call it Turtle Town, USA. We all drive like a little turtle, tie up everybody else's time. You drive 20 miles an hour on the parkway. Okay. Yesterday, went to church. I'm only a part-time member now. I I resigned as a deacon, and I no longer do fellowship. I have some situations with the church that I don't care to discuss here on this forum. It's between me and the church. Okay. Until it's fixed, I'm a part-time member. I was there yesterday because I was liturgist. I'm asked to do liturgist, which I enjoy doing. I love talking on a microphone. And as you can see, I have no issues talking, reading, doing anything. All right. So I was at church yesterday to be liturgist. Church was over, partially the way over. Got up and left. I didn't stay for fellowship. For the first time in probably 4 years or more, I actually got home in time to watch the kickoff for the Steeler game. Because I'm always at church till 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Because of fellowship. My wife can't help me because of her health, because of her amputated toe. Okay? I can't do it by myself because of my condition. All right? It's a nice place to worship. God's house always is. It's supposed to be. All right? I'm not going to go no further tonight with this. This is between me, the church, and God. All right? And none of us are going to talk right now. My life story. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, our key topics tonight. I want to talk about this ridiculous thing in McKees Rocks. And you know, when I lived in McKees Rocks, I lived there for about 6 years. When my wife passed, I stayed in McKees Rocks. I lived by the high school. And I lived down the street from the high school. I was down the block from Mancini Bread. Great pizza shops, great hoagie places. Rudy's Tavern used to make a good ham sandwich. A lot to offer in McKees Rocks. Progi Plus. Okay. But one thing I cannot tolerate, and I cannot stand, and I don't get this from the people of McKees Rocks are not up in arms on this. Why would you decertify a fire department? You know what? In all my years, I don't think I've ever heard of that. Decertifying a fire department. Now, the way I see it here, which is, of course, that's what this show is all about, there's something wrong here. We have a mayor who obviously has no clue, and it's not his name. It's not Jack Muir anymore, thank goodness. Okay? All right? And if I was still living in McKees Rocks, I was either going to run for magistrate or for mayor, and I didn't because I got out. Okay? I got out in 2014. I was there for 6 years. Well, actually more. Yeah, I was there for about 8 years. Okay? So, what in the world is going on in McKees Rocks? And the people who live there, and if you live there, why aren't you doing something about this? See, this is what I'm talking about. Nobody cares. You live in McKees Rocks, and if your house is on fire and Preston is tied up with something else, you can't get a fire truck to fight your fire. Okay? And the president of the council, he gets on the news and he goes, oh, well, we filled out the paperwork. And, you know, we sent it to 911 to county. It's 911's problem that this happened. Oh my. You know. I don't get it. And they had firefighters there to fight. But they couldn't go because they were decertified. Now, I want to know who's on this council, other than the council president, who I saw on TV, who don't look like he can find his way out of a paper bag, and a mayor who's non-existent. Okay? Why is this happening here? And why isn't the community up in arms over this? Oh, I get it. Nobody cares. But if it involved getting high, or it involved someone closing up a liquor store, or it involved a bar going out of business, you'd be fighting for it. I know what lives in McKees Rocks. And I'm not saying there's not good people there. There are. I know people who live in McKees Rocks. I know people who lived and died in McKees Rocks. But right now, from what I could see, something is wrong here. It's the way I see it tonight. The state has decided to raise everything: gas prices, turnpike fees, turnpike tolls, all kinds of stuff. They're raising fishing licenses, they're raising hunting licenses, they're raising everything. They're taxing this, they're taxing that. That's why we are called Taxylvania. That's why people are getting out. Okay? This is an old story. Everybody knows about this, except for our current generation, because they don't watch the news. And people say, I don't want to hear negative stuff. All I want to hear is about killing and violence, and I don't want to hear about none of that stuff. But then when you don't know, and it applies to your wallet, then you're upset. All right? I mentioned this last Monday night. Where are the people to complain about the fact that the gas companies and places like Sheetz and some of these other places take $55 out of your debit account without your permission? Take. Oh, but Ralph, they put it back. That doesn't mean anything to me. It's theft. Okay? Why aren't they being held to the carpet? Because nobody cares. Now you have an increase in everything. Gas tax, all kinds of taxes. And you sit there and you go, I can't feed my family because I don't make enough money because my taxes are going up in my job. I can't get food prices and everything. Well, do something about it. Get rid of these clowns. All right? What is this, a circus act that nobody cares? See, again, here we are. On the way I see it here, episode number 2 of the new year, and I've already brought up points about people not caring. Southwest Airlines is going to lose $750 million. That's too bad. I feel bad for them. No, I don't. You deserve to lose $750 million. And I hear within the next month or so, it could be up to $800 million. You did it to yourself, Southwest. How dare you stick people? Oh, we had bad weather. Oh, crews didn't want to come to work. Well, get them to work. Find a private contractor to come in. Oh, we can't do that. That violates union rules. Well, if nobody wants to work, got to get somebody to work. These people got to be moved for the holidays. I personally, and I said this on the last week's show, I would not travel on the holidays at all. At all. Why? Because I'm not stupid. And stupid, as I've said many times, common sense went out the window a long time ago, and stupid never takes a vacation. Okay? I'm not that stupid to travel during the holidays and get stuck. My co-host and I'm not saying he's stupid, he went to go visit his family. Got stuck down in Atlanta. Waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. They kept canceling flights. So he had to go get a rent-a-car. Had to drive all the way from Atlanta in this bad weather to get home. People had to go from Chicago to Pittsburgh and back to get their luggage because Southwest couldn't guarantee them they're going to get their luggage. That's sad. So they deserve Southwest. I blasted them last week, and I blasted them on Thursday on my recording of my TV show, The Way I See It, which is on a rotating basis on PCTV, Channel 21 Comcast, 47 Verizon Cable, and I want to thank the viewers who tuned in on Facebook. Also on PCTV's Facebook page. And I'm going to say it again. Shame on you. Because you should have never, you knew what you were in for, and you were not prepared. And it's pretty sad that when employees make comments and say, oh, did you see what happened here? We're working with antiquated systems. We're working with a phone line system that jams up. And that is what you companies all get for hiding behind an email. Cutting jobs, don't want to pay people for customer service. Okay? And again, I have nothing against Indian people. I have nothing against foreign people. Okay? But I have a problem when I pick up the phone and I call someone's customer service and all I get is somebody from another country that don't speak the English. And again, we don't care because nobody says nothing and does nothing. Last year's team was nothing. Another prime example of what I'm saying. That's the way I see it tonight. Speaker of the House. You know what? This is a disgrace. And again, here we are. We don't care because we put these people in here. 11 votes, 11 times, and they stayed overnight till 4 o'clock in the morning almost on Saturday into Sunday morning for this vote. And it still was McCarthy, no matter what you tried to do. Our country's in turmoil. These politicians, it's a circus act. Okay? Oh, yeah. Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, who went out of business years ago. Okay? All right? Yeah. A circus act, a clown show. All right? That's what it is right now with these politicians because of this. I didn't vote for Summerlee. I have a problem with somebody who wants to defund the police. And when I ask you a question and you dance around what I asked you and don't give me a solid answer, that's when I have a problem. But I feel bad for her because she can't get sworn in because of this. Sad. But nobody cares because if you did, you'd vote him out. And they had that discussion. I saw this discussion on World News last week. Okay? This discussion about how the same old politicians are in 10, 12, 15, 80 terms. And they do nothing and get it reelected every year. That's their career because they're not going to there's no way a politician is going to vote for themselves not to be able to get reelected again. Term limits. It's not going to happen. Okay? So remember this the next time you go to the polls. If you go to the polls, I don't go to the polls. I fill out a mail-in ballot, whether you like it or not. I could sit here and get it in the mail, fill it out, throw it in the envelope, out. I make sure it's filled out properly, and I have my ducks in a row. I'm not waiting in long lines. I'm not going there and getting told that I had to wear a mask or whatever during COVID. I even could have worked for the county elections. I've been a judge at a polling place many times. I'm not doing it anymore because we got crazy people out here who have this mentality that the world is out to get them. I wasn't fighting with people to put masks on to get into the polls. it's a long day to begin with. And then at 8 o'clock at night, I got 50 people standing outside. And guess who? And guess what? We have to run them through whether we want to or not. By the time I get home, after I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get to where I need to be, okay? And then I have to unload my Jeep, and then I have to get the pools open at 7 o'clock. I got to call around because workers are late. People don't have any responsibility to show up on time or show up at all right? So I stopped putting up with that. All right? I'll stay here, and I'll fill out my ballot. And if you don't like it, that's too bad. If you're one of those folks who sits there and complains because guys like me and folks like me fill out our ballot and send it in, too bad. I'm not going downtown and putting it in no bin. I'm not going downtown and going to the election office and hand it to them. I mail it out, let the Postal Service do all the work. What work they don't do. Because our whole society, generational now is what I'm told, generational, is lazy. Nobody wants to do anything. My mailman, I got a new mailman now. The old mailman used to put our ads, not that I care because I don't read them. My wife does, but I don't. Okay, really. All right. But what I'm saying is, he used to take the ads, the old mailman, stuff them in the mailbox. This guy is so lazy, he just throws a pile of them on the table down in the lobby and help yourself. And we got people here in my building who don't care about anything. And they'll throw them all over the floor, or they'll toss them somewhere, or they'll hand them off to Aunt Mabel or whatever. Okay? Or at least if they stuck them in the mailbox, you would know it's there. But, here we are. That's laziness. Next, white-collar jobs. I heard a report recently, and it's kind of disturbing, that white-collar jobs are going bye-byes. A lot of companies are cutting back. A lot of companies are laying people off. A lot of companies are cutting jobs in the white-collar field. Okay? All right? So the days of $200,000 salaries or whatever, and exotic vacations and all that stuff, and you probably didn't save your money up, are done. White-collar jobs are at the worst right now. And that's why our inflation is where it is. Okay? These companies do not want to pay these high leases anymore to have these people in their office. So they're keeping them at home. Those that will choose to do it that way. They've cut back drastically. They could probably go from 100 employees down to 10. That way. Just put more work on somebody else. Okay? COVID was used as an excuse for everything. It was an excuse not to go out and work. It's an excuse to lay people off. It was an excuse to go out and start up a mask business where you can go out and get masks. It was an excuse for everything. Okay? It was the biggest excuse in the whole world that nothing could be done. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, the county jail. Well, we talked about this earlier when I did my blast segment tonight. And I'm going to further talk about this right now just for a few moments. Okay? I'm not very pleased with our county executive right now. Like I said earlier in the blast segment, he's like a coach who hires a bad assistant. We in Pittsburgh here, those who follow the Steelers, should know who that bad assistant is. Okay? And Mediocre Mike today was on with his press conference, and we'll talk about that tomorrow a little bit more. But I'm trying to make a point to you here. He's like a coach who has a bad assistant coach and don't want to fire him. He thinks it's fine. He thinks this guy's okay. He thinks he's doing his job. Okay? And tomorrow night, I got a lot to say about you Steeler fans because I'm really surprised at a lot of you. I am. And we'll discuss that tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter. We're live, 8:30 p.m. Myself, Smoking Jim Frazier, Sports Corner tomorrow night. Our guest, 8:30 p.m. Avi Greenwald. And we're going to talk about that win that Miami had that threw us out of the playoffs. Okay? And will Miami survive the Dolphins in the playoffs? And today was Black Monday in the NFL, which means a lot of coaches got fired, assistants got fired. We'll talk about that tomorrow night. Smoking Jim Frazier night, 8:30 p.m. My Sports Corner is getting better and better. I have guests on almost every week, and some good ones. You should watch. Since most of the other media outlets in this town, except for my friends at Steel City Sports World, don't think so. Interesting. I'll talk about that tomorrow too. But the county jail. The county executive thinks that the warden is doing a great job at the county jail. So he sent a team in to evaluate and go over things. City paper reported that this team that he put together went in there to take a look at this. Okay? Look at the conditions of the jail, what's going on down there. All right. Now, I watched a jail hearing, an oversight hearing. You know, I guess the jail board, they have public hearings where you can go and speak. Okay. I heard several things that disturb me. And even though I've never been in the jail and don't plan on it. But that's disgraceful, what's going on down there. I'm hearing about roaches in the food. I'm hearing about starvation. I'm hearing about no heat. I'm hearing about people being confined to their cells for too long. I'm hearing that the juveniles down there, which of course, you know, that's understandable because we don't have a Schumann Center yet. All right. Okay. They're putting all the juveniles down there now. Finally, somebody listened to something that I had to say that actually is working. Yeah, I said that on this program. Put them violent juveniles, the ones that are causing all these problems, down at the county jail. They claim they have an extra pod available. Put them in that pod. They're talking about shrinking the jail to redo it. But you won't fire Orlando Harper. And you won't do anything about, again, which boils down to nobody cares. And I get it. I get that the fact, okay, that there are people who don't deserve to be treated well because of the crime they did. I get it. Especially a violent crime. But I've said this many times on this program. There are people there that maybe shouldn't, that don't deserve to be there. That maybe were down on their luck and they did something petty or small and they're there. A veteran, a homeless veteran was there. I don't know what he did, but he's there. He can't get health care for 3 months. He put request forms in after request form after request form. They're having trouble keeping mental health doctors there. They're having trouble, the medical people there. Then there's a problem. And the problem is the head coach. The problem is the captain of the ship at the jail. And that captain is Orlando Harper. Okay? Mr. County Executive, you don't care because you're at the last year of your term. And you know what? From what I'm hearing right now, maybe I'm glad that's the case. After what you and Deborah Bogan and everyone else did during COVID, you stuck up with the governor. You didn't fight for the county. You didn't say, oh, come on, Tom Wolf. How about it, or Rachel Levine? You kissed his butt. That's what you did. And I won't forgive you for that. Okay? Just like I said about Josh Shapiro. Whether you like it or not, okay, his opponent, Doug Mastriani, was right when he said that Josh Shapiro went along with Wolf on everything and prosecuted business owners for opening up, which had to go out of business. Okay. And I blame business owners, and I've said this many times, restaurants especially, and bars. You didn't fight hard enough. You folded your tent and closed up. You folded your tent and let the governor run roughshod. You folded your tent. If a judge didn't vote you to open your restaurant over the governor, out. Vote him out. This is what I've been saying through the whole show. It goes on in Pennsylvania, and it goes on in our federal government. It's time for our county executive. I know it's the last year of his term. He can't run again. We have new blood coming in. I'm trying to get Sarah Arenado on this program, or on my Ralph Williams one-on-one show. She's running for county executive. Michael Lamb's running for county executive. City controller. There's a bunch of people that are running for this job. Take a look at who they are, because things like, let's say, for instance, your loved one gets put in jail by a technicality. You think he wants to be treated like a dog? You see what I'm saying? You think about that. Okay? People don't think about anything until it happens to them. That's what people do. That's what people think about. That tonight on our key topics. It's the way I see it. But one thing I wanted to bring up tonight was the death of Rodney Ambrogi. Rodney Ambrogi was the owner of Al's Cafe. And you know why I want to say some stuff tonight good about Rodney Ambrogi? Because he was the one who put together the rally and went and got a lawyer and fought for their businesses. Him and some other business owners. Okay? I told you this many times. If you are a business owner, all you needed to do was, if every single business, restaurant, or bar in Allegheny County and around Western Pennsylvania would work together, pitch in $10 or even $20, even $100, and go out and get a Dick Thornburgh type of lawyer who can bang into the Supreme Court and get the governor to get rid of the stuff from COVID. But you didn't do it. Rodney Ambrogi did. Okay? And tonight I honor him. And he's not going to be part of Restaurant Week this year because he's up with the Lord. Atria is not going to be part of it either. The owner of Atria, the original founder. He passed too this last year. Restaurant Week's coming up. It started today. Goes till Saturday in this town, in Pittsburgh. All right? That's the way I see it tonight. Let's go into some small topics here as we get ready to wrap up. Breweries. Breweries are raising prices. My beer prices are going up. I can't get drunk. Yeah. Ingredients. Again, here we go. Has anyone fought to stop this stuff? No. We all sit there and think the president is going to do it. He can't find his way out of a paper bag right now. Okay? So here we are. 2 shows into this year, and I've already given several examples as to why we are where we are in this country. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, Steve Perry, lead singer for Journey, withdrew his lawsuit, former lead singer of Journey. There was some big scuttlebutt going on over the last 3 or 4 months with Journey. Jonathan Cain is suing Neil Shun for something to do with a group credit card that he used and his name wasn't on it. Of all the people whose names should be on a credit card, should be his. Okay? But come to find out, and this is why Jonathan Cain is suing now, because Neil Schon decided to use the card with his wife has expensive habits. Okay. So we're one lawsuit gone and another one to start again for Journey. Sad, but true. Okay. I'm trying to get Dave on. He does a show. He's a reporter for one of these music magazines, and he does a show. He does a little small podcast, and he talks about Journey and things like that. Or I'm trying to work on getting Eddie Trunk on, famous DJ who has a satellite radio show, to talk about this Journey stuff. And other rock bands who are retiring, Foreigners retiring this year, after this year. Supposedly, they'll be back. Remember what Rodney Dangerfield said? You ever watch the movie Back to School when he goes to his wife? If the roast beef is right, they'll be back. Well, if it's right, the money's right, they'll be back. Look at Leonard Skinner. I was concerned because Leonard Skinner was in their last year. They said they weren't going to come back. They were done in 2018. I couldn't get tickets, and I didn't have the affordable amount of money to get the tickets, and I was in no mood to drive all the way out to Star Lake to go see it. Okay? That's another issue for another day. Okay? How many bands? Alabama. I went to their farewell concert. They're back. Everybody has a farewell concert, but when they run out of money, they're back. Okay? Everybody has a farewell concert. Well, Foreigner is doing their farewell tour this year. Kiss. I heard Kiss is back again. They were supposed to be done last year. I heard they're doing a small little mini little tour this year, I guess to finish up some dates that may have been canceled or something. You're supposed to be going bye-byes. All right? Just like shows on TV. Last final season. And then here we are, 10 years later, they're back up. Night Court's back. Remember that show? It's back. Several other shows are back. All right? That's the way I see it tonight about that. But anyway, that's the story with Journey. All right. Next, retail stores, companies that are going out of business. Macy's, we talked about that last week. Bon-Tons, which has already pretty much gone out of business. Bed Bath & Beyond is closing up stores. Now Jo-Ann Fabric is added to the list. Big Lots. Brick and mortar stores are not making it anymore. Everybody's ordering stuff online. There's cheaper options. Okay? You don't have to go out. You don't have to waste gas, time, walk around all over the place. Not that people are lazy. I wish I could walk around a mall. Why should I? Okay? There's not that many, there isn't that many indoor malls anymore. There's a few that are surviving here in this area. Barely surviving. Some of them are strong, some of them are weak. Some of them, they have places that they can go, but they don't have, or they're in the right community who worships the mall, who needs the mall. All right? Brick and mortar's pretty much going to be done real soon. It's I think in the next 5 to 10 years, maybe even sooner than that. Joe Hardy, founder of 84 Lumber, passed away 100 years old. Really sad. They were getting ready for his official 100th birthday, actually, where they were doing some kind of celebration, and it turns out that he ended up, passing away, and just like Franco Harris. All right. All right, next. January 9th through 15th, we talked about this just a few seconds ago. It's Restaurant Week. Go out and support your local restaurant. Oyster House will not be open for Restaurant Week downtown. They closed up for the whole month of January. The owner wanted to give his employees the month off, and hey, you know what? Great, good for him. He said everybody's burned out, but they're going to come back in February ready to go for Lent. That's coming up next month. Lent, for fish fries everywhere. Okay? We'll see who can get fish and who can't. Supply chain problems. Remember a few years ago, couldn't get fish? We'll see what they do this year. Some couldn't do it. They couldn't get people to help. A lot of them couldn't do it either because they couldn't get the fish. And a lot of places didn't want to do it because they didn't want to charge the high prices for food, which, again, nobody cares to do anything about fixing. Get on your politician to get on these companies about what they're doing. They're sticking it in your pocket and pulling it out, and you don't care. And tonight, everybody, that is the way I see it. It was great being here with you tonight. Once again, show number 2 for 2023. So it's a wonderful Monday, kind of cold Monday night here, but that's fine. Okay. It's winter time. We're going to be cold. Things are going to happen. So, But anyway, I'm Ralph Williams. It's great being here tonight. Talk to you next Monday night for The Way I See It. Don't forget, every Monday night, 7 p.m., YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. It's on your ticker take on the bottom. And until then, don't forget to watch my archive version and subscribe to YouTube as well. Have yourself a great night. Thank you.